starting off with just some presence. Maybe you can hear the wind that's blowing here outside my window. Maybe there are other sounds or distractions. Maybe there are some threatening thoughts, some unpleasant thoughts. Can we surrender to this moment? And we accept this moment as it is. What can be resisted? It is as it is in this moment. Reached a point this week where there hasn't been as much presence as I would have wanted. And sometimes it's very easily to become disheartened. It's very easy to hear the thoughts that I don't think I can do this. Or, I don't think this will happen for me. I'm going to be stuck with this mind that never quietens. I'm going to be stuck in this painful reality of the mind, of the ego. I'm going to be stuck with this painful me. Me and my life. My painful life. The life that doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So I've tried not to engage in these thoughts. The thoughts are there. Emotions are there. Emotions of frustration or anger, sadness. Last week I was very present, but this week, no. It's very easy to have those comments running through your mind, comparing weeks or even days. Yesterday was a very present day. Today I'm all over the place. I can't seem to be present even for a second. So our minds are always trying to evaluate, measure, judge, comment, even by something that is outside of all of that. But the mind comes in even there. Even the thoughts that I won't ever get there, I won't ever quieten the mind. On one level, they are just thoughts, nothing more. But the thoughts only have power when there's a I and the thoughts, the egoic I and the thoughts. It's almost a fuel for more thoughts to happen, for a narrative to begin, a mental commentary that we believe to be true. So if you can, in this moment, just simply surrender. There is no you and your life. There is no what am I doing with my life. There's just simply this moment. There's just simply life happening. And in this moment of surrender, it's a moment to let go of that, all of that mental structure, that heavy, dense structure that we label as me. Just for this moment. Just allow yourself to breathe and relax, and just enjoy the simplicity of this moment. Maybe you can feel the weight lift as you sink into the stillness that is in the here and now. And you feel the lightness. I was going to start the episode by reading The Miracle of Mindfulness, but some of these words came to me instead, so I thought I would share that. So in those moments of being disheartened, discouraged, by all means feel what is going on in the body and mind. Be aware of what's happening, be aware of the thoughts. But as Mooji says, don't log in to the thoughts, don't connect with the thoughts, don't form that connection between the thought and the little me and its problems. Just hold it in the awareness. And just remind yourself that there is only this moment. And connect with that. There is no backward step on this spiritual path. Of course, there isn't a path. There isn't an entity going somewhere. There isn't a doing that needs to happen to get the spiritual liberation, but perhaps there's an undoing needed. So used to being in first gear and going forward by doing, we must do things. I've been thinking too much. Okay, I must do non-thinking. I must do this spiritual practice when it's the surrendering of what is, the surrendering to what you are. And if you even find yourself logging into the thoughts, believing the thoughts of, I can't do this, this is not working, that's okay too. If you catch yourself in that, you can just simply smile and compassionately understand the nature of the mind. And you can just simply acknowledge, I was in thought again. And the moment you acknowledge it, you are back into being present. So when discouragement comes, allow it to be. Allow those thoughts to clear in their time. First, check in with the awareness. If action needs to happen, then it can come from the place of neutrality instead of a place of reaction. Often you may find it's just simply awareness is just needed here. Heavy thoughts come up, painful thoughts. Maybe you can call this also the pain body as well. Maybe there's a movement from the pain body. It's just simply being aware of that. So the next passage is titled Mindfulness of the Mind. Someone might well ask, is relaxation then the only goal of meditation? In fact, the goal of meditation goes much deeper than that. While relaxation is the necessary point of departure, once one has realized relaxation, it is possible to realize a tranquil heart and clear mind. To realize a tranquil heart and clear mind is to have gone far along the path of meditation. Of course, to take hold of our minds and calm our thoughts, we must also practice mindfulness of our feelings and perceptions. To take hold of your mind, you must practice mindfulness of the mind. You must know how to observe and recognize the presence of every feeling and thought which arises in you. The Zen master Chu wrote, if the practitioner knows his own mind clearly, he will obtain results with little effort. But if he does not know anything about his own mind, all of his effort will be wasted. If you want to know your own mind, there is only one way: to observe and recognize everything about it. This must be done at all times during your day-to-day life, no less than during the hour of meditation. During meditation, various feelings and thoughts may arise. If you don't practice mindfulness of the breath, these thoughts will soon lure you away from mindfulness. But the breath isn't simply a means by which to chase away such thoughts and feelings. Breath remains the vehicle to unite body and mind and to open the gate to wisdom. When a feeling or thought arises, your intention should not be to chase it away, even if by continuing to concentrate on the breath, the feeling or thought passes naturally from the mind. The intention isn't to chase it away, hate it, worry about it, or be frightened by it. So what exactly should you be doing concerning such thoughts and feelings? Simply acknowledge their presence. For example, when a feeling of sadness arises, immediately recognize it. A feeling of sadness has just arisen in me. If the feeling of sadness continues, continue to recognize. A feeling of sadness is still in me. If there is a thought like, it's late, but the neighbors are surely making a lot of noise, recognize that the thought has arisen. If the thought continues to exist, continue to recognize it. If a different feeling or thought arises, recognize it in the same manner. The essential thing is not to let any feeling or thought arise without recognizing it in mindfulness, like a palace guard who is aware of every face that passes through the front corridor. If there are no feelings or thoughts present, then recognize that there are no feelings or thoughts present. Practicing like this is to become mindful of your feelings and thoughts. You will soon arrive at taking hold of your mind. One can join the method of mindfulness of the breath with the mindfulness of feelings and thoughts. So that's the end of that passage. And I'm just considering whether to read on. Sometimes after reading a passage, you can almost feel that that's enough, that what that passage has talked about is enough food for us to go away and digest. Sometimes we can get the nourishment we need, the spiritual nourishment, but then our mind, or we may want to go back for more, but we haven't yet discerned and let the nourishment absorb and digest in us. So I think I'll leave it here for this episode, and perhaps it's good to have some shorter episodes to change things up a bit as well, and I'll set the intention of recording again sooner than a week and continue on to the next passage, but perhaps we can leave it there and just reflect upon what was being said in this moment, the practice of observation and acknowledgement. And Tay says, this can be done at all times, but no less than the hour of meditation he prescribes. And again, just to remind yourself not to be flexible with yourself as well. So it does say an hour here, but perhaps 20 minutes is better than nothing, than no time. And I would suggest just to simply check in with yourself. What feels comfortable? What feels that you're able to do, whether it's 10 minutes or half an hour, or an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening. Just to remember not to add stress to the practice of, again, trying to achieve. So just simply, perhaps, come from that place of center, where it automatically acknowledges what the right thing is to do in this moment, and what's needed for you. And that could simply be 5 minutes in the morning before you get up out of bed, 5 minutes of just observing your in-breath and out-breath, 5 minutes of acknowledging any thoughts or feelings that arise. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. As always, I wish you well in this moment, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care.